Hello everybody and welcome to another Elden Ring video. I'm going to be showcasing one of my favorite builds today. I call it my Arc Wizard, that uses the Albinauric Staff and arcane scaling weapons along with dexterity to do some interesting setups and attacks here. One thing you'll notice is this build is very stat heavy. Although my level is at 125, I'm using both Sword Seals and Millicent's Prosthesis for a lot of stat boosting. And in return, you can see even with the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, my physical absorption is very low. My magic absorption is even lower at almost 0%. Without this Dragon Crest Great Shield, my absorption would be literally negative, taking bonus damage from the enemy. So although this build has a lot of interesting tools, a lot of interesting options, and it does some good damage, it does have its trade-offs, and I think that's part of what makes it really interesting. Alright, we got poise and buffs. Let's see what's going to happen here. I'm going to charge my Rancor Call because he's so far off. Light and heavy Glint Blade. See if I can hit him with a Swift Glintstone Shard. Doing a little bit of chip damage. Trade in with Corpse Piler. I am out of range of those stones, so those stones are not unbeatable for sure. Oh, it looks like he's doing a pure Faith build, which is interesting. Oh man, that fire does a lot of damage. Ooh, and the stone still hit me there, unfortunate. Ooh, didn't roll, 1 HP. Good fight to that guy. I did panic a little bit. Unfortunate. That's a pretty cool build. A pure Miracle Caster using the Catch Flame Miracle, I believe it's called, as your melee. Interesting. Alright, Giga Chad. Intelligence, Katana. Maybe a Moonveil build. Can't roll into me like that. Oh man, but if I run away from the Moonveil R2, boy, that does a lot of damage. Alright, we're gonna chug a potion real quick because I have the time. Bait him to come into me. Oh, no, he got caught by the spell pressure. That's one of the huge benefits of these slow-moving spells, especially Rancor Call. I love Rancor Call so much. It just lasts so long and it homes so strongly that if they stand still for any point in time, they're going to take some damage, and it's not trivial damage either. I mean, you could see I think it was only one skull from Rancor Call that impacted along with a Swift Glintstone Shard. And it did a couple hundred damage, and it was enough to get me the kill there. Alright, we got Deal Wielding, Straight Sword, and Ultra Great Sword. Perhaps that's a Rapier. Ooh, that's a nice little combo there. Interesting. The thing about Bloodhound Step as well is that it does often carry you far past where your enemy is. Ooh. Yeah. Unfortunate, I did get a little panicky at the end. I need to try to stay calmer during those high-intensity situations. I wonder if that Ultra Greatsword poke into Rapier is a true combo. If it is, that's a really interesting strategy that I might want to make a build around. That'll be something to think about at a later point in time. Is this some sort of Fight Club scenario? Looks like it. We're gonna charge Ranker Call and cast a quick one as well. Try to abuse the range of the Corpse Piler, no such luck. Maybe cast it right in his face, see what's... Sent home! Well, I guess he didn't want to fight me. Oh, a colossal weapon. Oh, and a dagger in the offhand. It's interesting seeing a lot of these dual-wielding setups. I think they're really interesting. And we're gonna try to edge closer to this guy here, maybe regen some stamina. And another glint blade. Get some chip, maybe? Ooh. Range on that, pretty strong. Ooh. Can't trade into the Ultra. Don't know why I tried. Unfortunate. Really bad spacing by me in that. We're gonna have to hit him with something strong to out-trade, it looks like. We just hit him with the bleed there as he rolls into it. Interesting encounter. He probably deserved to win that with how bad I was spacing earlier. Every time I tried to cast a spell, he would just hit me with an attack because I just don't quite understand the range. But one of the strengths of the Corpse Piler is not even the weapon art necessarily, although it is quite strong, especially the initial cast of it. But the bleed that builds up. It doesn't take very long to proc bleed, and bleed is an instant stagger, regardless of how much poise the enemy has, and that makes it really valuable, especially for light builds like mine. Is that a great hammer? Pickaxe. Interesting, interesting. Oh, and he's trying to throw rocks at me. You see the power of Ranker Call there. He stands still for a moment. And the combo is just too much. He stands still, the Ranker Call hits him for 400 damage. And you could see the magic glint blade cast in combination with the Corpse Piler. I keep calling the weapon the Corpse Piler instead of the Rivers of Blood. In combination with the Rivers of Blood, the combo potential with these slow spells should not be slept on. You can get some really high damage out very quickly. See what we've got going on here. It's like magic rapier, perhaps? Is that a Bloodhound Dash? He's getting hit by the magic glint blade. Oh, Ambush Shard. Ambush Shard does have a... Ooh, shit! Stars of Ruin. Alright, we're gonna get some mana back real quick. He's using Ambush Shard, but there's an effective range on that, unfortunately. We're gonna have to spam roll because he's casting Bloodhound Dash. He wants to do a spell into that. Unfortunately, Bloodhound Dash is making it really hard for me to cast a spell back into him. Well played to this guy. I'm going to need to figure out how to counter that Bloodhound Dash and casting at the same time on this build. One of the things I found pretty difficult to deal with, at least for me, are builds that like to operate at the same range that I do. For me personally, it's a lot easier to try to play in my effective range while avoiding the enemy's effective range. But if the enemy's effective range is the same as my effective range, it seems to turn into a lot of trading, which doesn't go so well for me. My spells don't do a whole lot of damage on their own. I need to mix in the attacks. But that's something I'm going to have to work on as I get better as a PvP player. Not sure what that was about. I see a surprising amount of people try to disconnect against me, and I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it's because I'm sipping my flask. Maybe that's considered bad etiquette. I'm not really sure. I see plenty of people do it though, so maybe I'll try not to do it. It's really not an integral part of my build. Alright, going into this next fight. Dual rapiers, it looks like. You see the magic glint blade protecting me there, the slow. Ooh, that was a good running attack there. Now I'm on the defensive, which is unfortunate. We'll see if I can trade into this guy with a weapon art. I might be able to. Oh, I'm out of mana. That was unfortunate. I didn't think that through. He does get staggered by a running R2. Ah, man, that's very unfortunate. I should not have tried to trade with a weapon art into a spell. I didn't recognize I didn't have enough mana. But of course, all player versus player, whether it's a fighting game or Elden Ring, is a process of improvement. So that's something I'm going to have to think about next time. Alright, let's see. Naginata. Interesting. He is going to buff up. He's going to do his anti-magic. That flies spell. Very strong, actually. Trade with the first hit of Corpse Piler there. Ooh. Now what I should have done there is definitely respect the phantom range that long poke weapons can have. This has been a feature of the PvP in these games since even Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, where the delay-based netcode can make moves project slightly further than they visually indicate. It is consistent though, so it's something that I can remember and look out for it the next time.
Hey!
Alright, Pure Katana Man. He's gonna do his little buff maneuver. Yep, magic glint blade, slow projectiles doing its work. And we're gonna trade into this no poise man. Moonblade does have some really good range. And that's something I need to keep in mind always. But him having no armor means that I can stagger him pretty easily, and he takes a lot of damage. So we can just trade into that attack with Carian Slicer. I may be wrong, but it feels like Carian Slicer is slightly quicker than a Katana R1. It is absolutely quicker than the beginning of the Corpse Piler weapon arc. So it can be useful to have as a weapon replacement, honestly, just for the quicker timing. It still does decent damage. With this build, my staff has a sorcery scaling of 309, which is absolutely not bad at all. Alright, is this going to be a magic straight sword? Perhaps? He's running around. We're getting some chip damage. Another Bloodhound Step user, it looks like. He's just gonna run away. I wonder what that spell does. I'm not sure. But he sure doesn't want to attack. Which is interesting. Ah. So he has miracles. Alright, we're gonna sip up. We're gonna try to trade into him with some melee if I can. Now, you're gonna have to free aim that spell to get anything off of it. Weapon art too slow. He's gonna roll in Bloodhound Dash. Yep, Rock Sling very quick. Can't just dash to avoid that, unfortunately. Ooh, a very strong follow-up on that weapon art. It looks like he's using two of the same weapon with different weapon arts. I think that's a really cool strategy, and I think that's one of the strengths of this game when it comes to PvP. Alright, we got Mr. Magic Man here. With Bloodhound Step, of course. Not quite quick enough to trade into that attack, but it's okay. He tries to get some distance. It's interesting. Oh, dual status. Maybe trade into him a little bit. It looks like it. Can I get some space? No, no space. It's hard for me to recognize what the range of these whips are, unfortunately. It's something I'm going to need to get better at as I play. I'm going to try to bait him with an attack here. Hard with the Bloodhound Step. Okay, interesting. He just uses the opportunity to get a heal off. Or restores mana. Okay. That's an interesting attack. Ooh, that was a close dodge. I thought that was going to hit for sure. You can get some mana back here. Ooh, Moonveil. There he goes. I wonder if he has all of those weapons equipped, or if he's hot swapping them. If he is, that's really impressive, and hats off to that guy for sure. Fortunately, I just didn't time my attacks well enough to hit him out of the Bloodhound Dash. And I think I spent too much time putting pressure with my spells and not enough time using that pressure to get an attack off. Alright, we got a Faith Scythe user here. I guess he's choosing to buff. Is that the infinite mana spell? And I tell you what I don't like about all these Faith users. Man, it takes them forever to buff. There's so much downtime. Ooh! What hit me there? I don't even know. Oh, he's using the Carian Retaliation. So that's his MO here. Well, we're just gonna... unfortunate spacing.
Hey.
Interesting that the Carian Retaliation weapon art on the shield makes the swords that pop up invisible in multiplayer. I'm sure that's a bug or maybe a feature of delay-based netcode. It's a little frustrating. I just need to make sure I recognize when he's using the weapon art. Trying to parry my spells. The downside to these multi-hit spells like Rancor Call is it's really easy to proc Carian Retaliation on them. And because Carian Retaliation does so much damage, if I don't recognize that he's using it, it's half to 3/4 of my health bar pretty easily. Let's see what this guy's gonna do here. Determination. Do a little poke. Ah, see, he's trying to use it right there. We're gonna trade into it. I'm not gonna let him get that off. Oh, you see the swords there. Oh, they're really light. They are hard to see. And it looks like they're not proccing, which is weird. We can hit him with the Carian Piercer there. It looks like he's mistiming his parries, which is unfortunate for this guy. So we just hit him with the poke. Pre-kill. I see those swords there, so that means they're not invisible in multiplayer. Although they are a little harder to see, it looks like they're partially translucent. I wonder why his weren't going off. Or maybe that's another visual bug. So we have invisible Carian Retaliation blades and non-functional but visible Carian Retaliation blades. It is an interesting countermeasure against mages though, and I really enjoy that that's in the game. I think there's something special about having options like that, having counter builds to builds. I think it adds a lot of variety in this sort of 1v1 environment. Alright, well this guy's gonna buff up, so we're gonna buff up as well. Hit him with a charged Rancor Call. I think he's gonna go in for a running R2 maybe. Alright, he used a bunch of mana. We're wasting his stamina. Yeah, there we go. We get a quick trade. Trade again. Let's see if we can trade again here. Ooh, that did not stagger. He got a nice roll catch on me. Couldn't proc bleed. We're going to get some more mana back here. See if we can poke him a little bit. See if we can get a few more trades. See, we're almost out of stamina. Going to see if we can hit him with the running R2. Doesn't look like it. Trade into that. Oh, I don't have quite enough mana for a Duel of Moonblade. Miscalculation on my part there. We're getting some good dodges off though. He's going to do the running attack. Yes, he is. There we go. Get the bleed proc. We're going to set up some more magic glint blades. And there we go. The slow activation time of the glint blades does a lot of work for people that stand still or people that stop dodging or stop running. It's just such an incredible tool for pressure. Between that and Rancor Call and Swift Glintstone Shard, I get the majority of my damage off. Another feature of that fight that I want to point out is using Carian Slicer as a bait. I cast it twice knowing that it wouldn't hit him, hoping that he would think that my mana and stamina expenditure would be enough to make me back off. Because that does tend to be the flow of some of these fights, is you do some hits, you back off, you go in, do a few more hits. So instead, I whiff those two, baiting him to come in and immediately go into Corpse Piler. We got some buffs. A lot of buffs. Oh my god, so many buffs! These faith users and their buffs. Yep. They always forget about the magic glintstone blade. I'm not sure what he tried to do there either. It looked like he ran in and tried to use seppuku on top of me. I'm sure that was a misclick or a mispress. An accidental input, let's go with that. Alright, naked katana man. He's gonna emote at me and then buff up, so we're gonna buff up as well. We're gonna trade into that. Missed the timing slightly, unfortunately, but he's gonna try to do it again, I'm sure. Trade with with Corpse Piler. Cast some spells. He doesn't know what's going on. Cast some more spells. Use that pressure to get a mana flask off. He's going to try to go for attack. We get an unlocked rolling attack there. Doesn't quite connect. He's going to trade into that. We get time for some counterattacks there. Oh, interesting. So the bleed proc happened, but it didn't look like it did any damage. I wonder if you can roll through it like in Dark Souls 1. Oh, weird. But okay. We can get some more mana off there. Maybe a Glintstone Shard cast. Hit him with the Swift Glintstone Shard. Oh, he's lagging a little bit. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But well played to that guy. That was an interesting fight. Some spacing mistakes by me that I need to work on. Alright, let's see if this guy is going to be a turtler with that bloody Healus and shield. Get the emote going on. Is he going to buff up? It doesn't look like it. Ooh, the range on that is incredible. Can't trade into that quite. So I think he's going to try to do a running attack here. So or maybe try to do some quick pressure. The range on that attack is really just so high. Although the hitboxes are really good, I can't believe that dodge just happened. We're gonna hit the Corpse Piler, maybe trade. Oh, no, he just circles around, hits with the backstab. Well played to that guy. I need to figure out how to do his shields a little bit better. Also, I did mean to use a Duelist Moonblade instead of Carrion Piercer. I was one off. Good on that guy to recognize my mistake, though. Alright, it looks like that guy's using the whip that has the stab attack. Let's see if we can do a little setup here. He just keeps backpedal. Oh! He's using Carrion Retaliation, and yep, just like before, it looks like the swords don't pop up. Which means that there's no indication if he lands the parry or not. So I think when I see him use the weapon art, when I see him use Carrion Retaliation, it's probably best to just assume that he did land the parry and start roll spamming. I believe there is a little bit of control of vibration if an attack is dodged, or it would have hit you but you dodged, more specifically. So I'll use that to know when the swords are gone and play a little bit more carefully. We got a high poise, spear, and short sword. He's getting all of his buffs. Do our little charge cast there. Frame rate's dipping. He just keeps running in circles. Let's see if we can trade into him a little bit. Trade doesn't quite work out in our favor, but it doesn't look like he's punishing us super hard for it, which is interesting. So let's see if we can bait him in again and get another good trade. I'm going to cast Rancor Call, wait for the stamina to go up a little bit. He's just going to keep running. Ooh, hitbox on that's not great for me. It looks like I dodged it, but it's okay. We're going to try to do a... Ooh, nice roll catch. Trade into him. Not quite. I used 3 Carrion Slicers, and I think what I should have done there is 2 into Carrion Piercer or 2 into Corpse Piler. That might have been more effective. He did stagger at the first one, which means I had a good chance to combo him there. Unfortunately, I just didn't recognize my opportunity. Didn't execute properly. Well played to that guy. We got Mr. Magic Man with his dual katanas. I'm sure... Oh! He's using the gravity katana. And catch him with that. The move's too slow. As long as I keep running, he's probably not going to hit me with it. Bait him to come in, trade with some R1s, make him burn his mana. Or his stamina, rather. Roll through that. Trade into it again. Good fight to that guy. He kept trying to use the, I think it's Gravitas, the weapon art. Unfortunately, it's just very slow and very easily dodged. You saw he got hit by the projectile from a duelist Moonblade when I recognized he started spamming it. And then the third time, all I had to do was roll through it and spam R1 into him. It didn't look like he had enough poise to trade with me there, so I could just spam into it, burn his stamina, and then hit him with the Corpse Piler to finish it off. Interesting that he had 2 katanas and really only used 1. I feel like the strength of the 2 katanas is being able to use the 2-handed moveset as well as the 1-handed moveset and a weapon art, which gives you a lot of moveset variety. But I'm sure he's just trying out a new build just like me. Going into this next fight, looks like a high poise dual rapier user. Dual rapiers are pretty popular, to be honest. It's hard to trade into them, there's a lot of status effect buildup. But we do get a good outspace there, and then immediately ruin it. And I just can't trade into it. I did say at the start that it was a high poise dual rapier, and yet at the end there I tried to stagger him with the Corpse Piler into a Carrion Piercer. So clearly my commentary isn't reaching my own head. Alright, we got Tanky Magic Man. Let's see what he's gonna do here. He's gonna roll towards me with the Carrion Phalanx. He's got the Godskin Piercer, but I'm just gonna trade into him with the Corpse Piler, it looks like. Hello? Mr. Magic Man? There you go, now you're getting some attacks in. Ooh! See, there's the power of that Duelist Moonblade. Really just an incredible trading tool there that I need to respect. And he has the magic Glint Blade, which we're going to keep an eye on. And unfortunately, I thought he was going to keep running, use the Corpse Piler, and then combo into the counterattack with the Duelist Moonblade, but he just ran into me with the running R1. Or running R2 rather. One of the greatest strengths of those great piercing swords is how much travel they have on those running R2s, and it's an incredible roll catching move. It's an incredible poke move. That weapon class in general is just very strong. And while I'm talking about weapons, I might as well mention something that might have been on your mind. I am using the Corpse Piler here because my stat line uses it pretty well, but there are a lot of options I could use with this build. I have the Eleanor's Pole Blade at +10. Unfortunately, I don't really enjoy using Twin Blades in this game, but I have it anyway. Morgoth's Curse Sword, which I do very much enjoy using. I just am not a big fan of the weapon art. It's a little too slow for me. Although it does have some good movement, so it has its uses, and I'm going to practice with it more later at some point. The Regalia of Eokid, and the Reduvia, as I'm getting summoned. The Regalia of Eokid is kind of an interesting sword, where... Oh, I think my game crashed. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and finish my point, and then I'll restart it. The Regalia of Eokid's kind of interesting. It does some good damage, but straight swords in this game are just not as strong as a class compared to Dark Souls 3. And the weapon art on it in a game full of very strong weapon arts, like the Rivers of Blood and Corpse Piler, it just doesn't match up. Alright, as we're getting back into the game here from that unfortunate crash, Elden Ring does still have some pretty serious performance problems on PC. Everything from dropping inputs to crashing. Unfortunate, but I'm sure it'll get fixed in the future. On the topic of weapons, I finished speaking about the Regalia of Eokid. The Reduvia is an interesting choice. It does have a pretty cool weapon art, a little projectile that's pretty quick and combos into itself. Unfortunately, the range just isn't quite there, and it's not something I enjoy playing with, but I have it on this build. The other thing I'm going to try to play around with at some point is just using Sorcerer's Armament and whatever weapon I can use with a keen scaling, something that scales with dexterity. The sorcery scaling on my staff is strong enough that Sorcerer's Armament will do a good amount of damage, and I have enough dexterity that a keen scaling on something like the Naginata or an Uchigatana or even a Greatsword will be pretty strong. Alright, it looks like we're going into a Faith user here. Ooh! Interesting. The range on those attacks doesn't seem to be too high, and it looks like I can just sit in the corner there, and it doesn't do anything, which is just interesting. Maybe we can bait them into coming in here. Ooh! It's like a Wrath of God type attack. Interesting. We're going to pop a mana pot here as we get some distance. And do some magic Limp Blade action. Yeah, it doesn't look like that Miracle just does any damage. I'm just going to stand in the corner here. Oh, it does have an interesting hitbox. But we just trade into it with the running R2 counterattack there, and they just die. I think that build's really interesting. I would like to see something comparable to that with some of the better offensive miracles there. Although it did look like the hitbox was hitting me in that open corner in between the projectiles, so maybe there's more to it than I'm giving it credit for. The range just didn't look like it was there either. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of familiarity with a lot of the offensive miracles, but that's something I'll look into on another build. Alright, as we go into this next guy, he's going to buff up. He's going to buff up twice. Faith users have way too many buffs. It takes a long time. Oh, he's buffing up again. 4 buffs. Oh, and he does have the Carian Retaliation. It doesn't look like it's going off. Alright, we're going to see if we can trade into him a little bit here. He's going to try to parry that, I'm sure. Yep, there he is, which means I'm going to have to keep rolling in case those hit me. But it doesn't look like they're going off again, which is interesting. I'm not quite sure how that mechanic works. I'm surprised that a Duelist Moonblade didn't hit him, but it is what it is. See if we can catch him with the corpse piler. It doesn't quite work. It's very... Ooh, that definitely went off. I saw that. So we're going to see if we can get some rolls to get them to go off. It doesn't look like they are. I think there might be something wrong with that, that weapon art. Oh, there it went off. I watched it. Ooh, wow, that did a lot of damage. Perhaps it was only one of the swords that went off, and the other two didn't. Those two swords combined with the bloody heelless attack one-shot me there. It's unfortunate that visually it just doesn't quite work, because I think it's such a cool mechanic. But I have faith in FromSoft. I think they'll fix it in the future. It looked like all he really wanted to do was parry my spells. So I think I should have gone on the offensive with my Rivers of Blood earlier. And the next time I come up against a user like that, I'm going to have to keep that in mind. Try to combo with some of the melee spells, Carian Piercer, Duel's Moonblade, and Carian Slicer. Mix them into my normal attacks to disincentivize him parrying them. It really is an interesting sort of counterplay, I think. Hey! Oh, this guy is the Regalia of Eokid, just what I was talking about. Alright, we're gonna get our Glint Blade off here. The range on that move is just so short. It's hard for him to do anything. We're gonna trade into him with the Corpse Piler there, interrupt him. I don't quite get the running R2 off, but we're gonna time the dodge so he can't roll catch us with that R2. There we go, get our combos. He doesn't land the parry. Oh, he's unhappy with me. I'm unsure why he sent me home there. I thought our fight was going okay. He got a good partial parry there on the weapon art. I'm not sure if you can parry the weapon art on that subject. It seems like it would be silly if you couldn't. But I don't really know. I've never tried. To be honest, I'm not very good at parrying, although it's something that I hope I'll get better at with time. I'm working on a quality dual-wielding build right now, and I think I'll use that build to try and get some parrying practice. Another thing I want to mention with this build is, although I am showing how Magic Glint Blade, Rancor Call, and Swift Glintstone Shard apply pressure, I'm not doing a very good job showing the combo potential with the melee spells and the weapon. There was a little bit there with the Carian Slicer into the Corpse Piler, but not quite enough, and part of that is just because my level of skill is not incredibly impressive. I'm still learning, just like everyone else in the PvP game. So I'll improve with time, hopefully. So this guy is gonna turtle and try to hit me with something. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do into that. Maybe I can use the Corpse Piler for bleed. We're gonna see. Let's see if I can bait him into doing something stupid with a running attack here. He's definitely just going to walk into me, so I can't cast my spells. Good roll catch. We're going to spam into him with Corpse Piler. Maybe get a bleed off. Not quite. But now his bleed bar is coming up. We're going to try and hit him with it again, and the bleed does proc. So well played to that guy. Turtle moves, or turtle builds, are really strong. The only thing it seems that they lose to is status build-up specifically. Things like sleep and frost and bleed. So if your build doesn't have that as an option, I'm not really sure what you would do there. Maybe you could just parry the shield poke. That could be it. But once again, I'm just not very good at parrying at this moment. Well played to that guy, though. As far as this build is concerned, you can see it does have some power. The weapon does some good damage, my spells do some good damage. The real downside is that it's so incredibly stat hungry. My build is at level 125, which seems to be what people are going to settle on. But being at 125, I'm using both Source Heals and Millicent's Prosthetic to boost my stats, which I think is a grand total of maybe 45 skill points. Just an incredibly large amount of skill points. This build is so hungry for stats. And this guy's gonna buff up. I kind of wasted my opportunity. Maybe I could have done something there. Or we're gonna use this opportunity of him backing off to cast some charge spells, get him to go in. Trade in. Not a bad trade there. And the Magic Glintstone Blade coming in clutch with its delayed activation. Ooh, that's an interesting weapon art there. Let me see if I can get... Nope! Oh, good dodge, there we go. Get a Rancor call off, maybe he's going to do a running R2 again. We trade into it and it just wasn't quite enough. I think the correct move there was just to dodge into a Carrion Slicer. Because Carrion Slicer seems to be a little bit faster than my Katana, even just a normal R1. So I could have gotten a little extra damage there, and if that staggered, I could have done Carrion Slicer again, and then gamble on him rolling back and doing a roll catch with Piercer or Duel's Moonblade. Or Corpse Piler. GG's to that guy, though. I think that weapon is really cool, and the weapon art is really interesting. I am not entirely sure how it works. It seems to be anything in a radius around him just takes damage when he thrusts it up. But I don't know if it's a constant damage or if it's just when he does the thrust. Maybe you can just roll through it and counterattack. Maybe that's the best way to deal with that. I'm not really sure. That's the first time I've seen someone use it in PvP, or at least against me. Another thing I should have done was use my Flask of Wondrous Physic. He definitely used his. I tried to only use it nowadays when someone else uses it, or when someone else is buffing. My preference is to just get into the fight immediately, but people like doing their buffs in their builds, so I'm gonna buff too if they're gonna buff on me. This guy's gonna do his little emote. Looks like he's pretty tanky, and he's using that Guardian Spear, which I think is really good. Oh, and the shield too, which is interesting. Ooh, that does a lot of damage. Lord have mercy. Gonna have to be a little more careful into that. Oh, and I got caught by that attack there, running instead of rolling. Oh, it does look like I can just run to dodge that, though. So I think what we're going to do is maybe try to bleed him through his Great Shield. And then combo on our... Oh, no, he used the Rock Sling. Rock Sling is a really cool miracle. I really want to make a build around it. It's so quick. It has a wide radius. You can use it out of a run and roll. It combos into itself. All the good things that I say about Carrion Slicer and Swift Glintstone Shard. The only downside is the range on it isn't great. But I think it's an incredibly powerful tool, and it's one I'm excited to play around with. Oh, we have that guy again. I get another chance to try and beat him. Is he going to try and attack me there? No, he's going to go back to his shield. We're going to try to prevent him from blocking it and combo into it with our weapon here. And a little bit of a hitbox disparity. But it's okay. We're going to do this. Combo into it. Not quite. Wow! Interesting. I'm not quite sure when he's allowed to do that or not. I thought it was kind of equivalent to Carrion Piercer, but it doesn't... Or, I'm sorry, not Carrion Piercer, Carrion Retaliation, but it doesn't look like it is. So, I'm going to have to do some learning. Yeah. And then a good poke there. Well played. Well, I think I'm going to call it there. I know this wasn't the most incredible display of talent. I'm not the greatest PvP player, though I am learning. I hope I showed you some of the power of these spells that I was talking about in my tier list video. And go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this build. Let me know what you think of the spells. Let me know if you're having fun with Elden Ring PvP. Honestly, I'm having a blast. I can just sit down for hours and play it. And thank you guys very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.